What is up, YouTube? This is the Working Investor. In this video, we're going to talk about my new favorite YouTuber in the finance space. We're going to talk about new funds coming out. We're going to talk about interesting funds that have unique ways of making options, not your typical cover call ETF funds or your synthetic cover call ETFs, but rather credit spreads and the WEEL strategy and more. So first, let's talk about one of my new favorite YouTubers, and I was introduced to him by YieldMax TV, aka the Oracle, and he basically has a channel called Income Architect, and he has really good stuff on there. Very well researched, very intelligently explained, and it's just great to have him in this space. Big fan of all his stuff. So he was mentioning in this video about, the total returns, and I like that he keeps an eye on it, that QDTE, RDTE, I think QDTE he was mentioning it's about a 13% total return, and then RDTE I think it was like 23 or 24% total return. And that takes me to my one of the reasons why I like FEPI, because FEPI, some people love FEPI and some people are not the biggest fans of FEPI. I like FEPI as a part of my holding. I don't carry the bulk of my holdings of FEPI. I'm building it up actually to 100 shares, and then we'll see from there what to do. But FEPI gives out a distribution rate of 25.2%, and they've been really, really consistent, and their NAV has been overall pretty stable. Of course, there are other methods, because Tom Sosnoff from Tasty Live talks about diversification of underlyings, like what company, what sector, commodities, whatnot. And then there's also, when it comes to options, you can also long versus short. You can pick different strike prices. You could pick different expirations. So all these things are different ways to diversify and hedge risk, even under the same underlying with options. So when you have the QDTE, which is the 0 date to expiration, weekly paying option through Roundhill, that's on the NASDAQ. But FEPI, even though FEPI also trades on 50, I think it's like 15 major companies in the NASDAQ, it's not 0 date to expiration, so it's a little bit different, and it keeps, they both kind of keep their NAV relatively stable. Again, past performance is not indicative of future gains, but something that's relatively stable with a 25% return seems pretty good. It's easy to calculate total return that way, easy to see what's going on. Then there's another fund, and it's called SPYT. Horrible name. It sounds like spit. It reminds me of the Oracle, aka YieldMax TV, when he jokes around and saying that when a company gives you 2% dividends, it's like they're spitting in your account. It's like nothing, But this is more like, I would say, phlegm, because it's more than 2%. It's actually 20% plus distribution in dividends. And I know it's not as sexy as the 25% or these like bigger yield max funds like Misty or Coney or Nvidia, that some of them are like 100% baggers, like pretty much 100% distribution. But the thing is, the NAV is pretty stable, and everybody, it's not my entire holding, it's a small holding of it. And what I've done was I've had a treasury product that I kept as a cash position, and looking at this as being kind of flat, I'm not sure, I know you guys are going to criticize my judgment, but I felt like getting 5% return in a treasury product, which of course we consider the risk-free, rate. I'm putting it into something that's in the market. It does have a 20% distribution, but it's subject to market risk. Of course, it's not the same, and they don't have obviously like the tax benefits from treasury products. But that was a call that I made because I saw SPYT flat and stable. Like, as a matter of fact, like if you look at their chart, again, past performance is not indicative of future gains. But if you look at SPYT, you'll see that they've been pretty flat, like the past, since they came out. It's like pretty. Even on August 5th, it did dip a little bit, but then it bounced right back up. So it looks pretty stable. So that's where I'm putting it for now. And I like it because it's a different strategy. They do call credit spreads. So that's the reason why I like it. It's not just your synthetic cover calls style. And then there's another ETF that I'm watching very carefully. It's the first of its kind, and it does the WEEL strategy, right? And for those who don't know, about the WEEL strategy, basically, you do a cash secure put. Well, there are a lot of videos, and then you put the shares, and then you on shares that you like, and then eventually you sell covered calls at it, and you just wheel the money over and over again. There are a lot of videos on the WEEL strategy. We won't get into this juncture, but they're doing the WEEL strategy for you. But the thing is, I've actually sent them an email, and I'm waiting to hear back. I'm trying to figure out like what their mechanics are, like what are their strike prices, what are their deltas, what are their underlyings, exactly. Like, and when do they take off trade for profit? Do they take it off at 90% profit, 70% profit? I just wanted to know what their mechanics are, because there's so many ways to put on and to execute these trades. I'm kind of curious to see. I'm just watching it for now, kind of curious to see how they do it. I'll share with you the feedback that I get from them about this. And it's what I don't like about the WEEL is that we live in the day and age of the weekly distribution or the monthly distributions, and people count on it. The WEEL is like your traditional quarterly based, looking through their objective, looking through their prospectus and everything. It looks like they have not given a distribution yet because they're quarterly, and I'm not sure how enticing a quarterly distribution would be for people who are used to having weekly, if not monthly, monthly, if not weekly distributions. So time will tell. Time will tell. I did ask them about that as well, like if they would consider to do at least monthly, because that would make it more palatable. But yeah, we shall see. I'm just kind of watching and waiting, trying to learn about this fund before I get into it a little further. And of course, you guys are all excited about, and I'm excited too, about RDTE, which I heard is coming up. Just close the tab. But it's coming out on, it's coming out like I think on the 3rd, like right after Labor Day weekend. So yeah. I heard some people, I know that I was also looking into Ulti. I'm kind of watching it. It's very enticing, but I know they're changing their prospectus, and they do a lot of like small cap stuff as well. And I know some people question why they do specific small caps, like I think SoFi, I think Palantir. Because if you look up like I think the answer I have is because if you look at the most, like, there's not every single underlying has enough volume in the option world, and not every underlying is as liquid or as tradable as you may like. Like even in the S&P 500, not every single stock in the S&P 500 can be as tradable and liquid to get in and out of trades as you like. So if you can Google all different sources and look at the top, underlying ETFs and or stocks that are by volume in options, and you could have an idea of which ones, as an option trader yourself, if you like to trade options, or to see like why fund managers would choose these options, is because these are the ones that are the most the most traded. I have to unlock it. But yeah, guys. So, but one thing I wanted to talk about is like, you wouldn't believe how many people I know I see at work, and they're working day after day, grinding it out, and they are scared to invest anything in the market. People are scared to put anything out of their checking account, even in a savings account. People are scared to do, and it's sad to see people working, decade after decade, trading their time for money, and every single dollar that they earn has to be earned income. Like nothing could be created. Nothing could be created through investment ventures or through a business or anything like that. Everything has to be grinded out. It's like literally, it's kind of sad. So it's just great to be in this space with, financially savvy people, and I wish I try to educate people around me as much as I can. Anyways, this is the Working Investor over and out. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your holiday weekend.